62. To wash off filth, to bathe the mind, just sweep a pagoda. To bind demons and return to the Lord is self-cultivation. In all 12 hours you must never forget to reap the fruit of night and day. For 5 years 108,000 rounds. Let not spirit water run dry, nor let firelight cause you distress. There's no harm where fire and water blend well. 5 phases would join as if enchained. Yin and yang at peace raise you up cloudy tower. Ride the phoenix to reach heaven. Mount the crane to head for Yingzhou. The tune of this lyric is Immortal by the River, which we use solely to depict Tripitaka and his 3 disciples. Since they attained the condition wherein water and fire were in perfect equilibrium, their own natures became pure and cool. Successful in their endeavor to borrow the treasure fan of pure yin, they managed to extinguish the large mountain of torrid flames. And in less than a day, they traversed the distance of 800. Leisurely and carefree, master and disciples proceeded toward the west. As it was the time of late autumn and early winter, this was what they saw. Wild chrysanthemum drop their blooms. Tender buds emerge from new plums. At each village they harvest grains. Everywhere they eat fragrant fare. The woods shed their leaves and distant hills are seen. By brookside frost thickens, cleansing the ravine. Moved by the wintry breeze, the insects stop their work. Pure yin now becomes young. The months ruled by Yunming. Water virtues strong. For peace reigns in bright, clear days. Earth's aura descends. Heaven's aura rises. The rainbow leaves without a trace. Ice slowly forms in pools and ponds. Dangling by the ridges, wisteria flowers fade. Absorbing cold, pines and bamboos grow more green. After they traveled for quite a while, the 4 of them again found themselves approaching a moated city. Reining in his horse, the Tang monk called out to his disciple, "Wukong, look at those tall, towering buildings over there. What kind of a place do you think it is?" Pilgrim raised his head to look and saw that it was indeed a moated city. Truly it has the shape of a coiled dragon. This crouched tiger-like strong city. On all sides bright canopies overhang it. With many turns royal plains level out. Beasts of jade and stone form the bridge's railings. Statues of worthies stand on golden mounts. Truly it seems like a capital of China. A metropolis of heaven. A secure domain of 10,000 miles. A prosperous empire of 1,000 years. Barbarians yield to the ruler's far-reaching grace. Mountains and seas pay tribute to the sage's court. The royal steps are clean. The royal paths serene. The taverns bustle with songs. Flowered towers are full of joy. Evergreens outside the Weiyang Palace should let the phoenix sing to greet the dawn. "Master," said Pilgrim, "that moated city has to be the domain of a ruler or king." "In this world," said 8 Rules with a laugh, "there are cities that belong to a prefecture, and there are cities that belong to a district. How do you know that this is the domain of a ruler or a king?" "Don't you know?" said Pilgrim, "that the domain of a king or a ruler is quite different from a prefecture or a district? Just look at those gates on all 4 sides of the city. There must be over 10 of them. The circumference around it has to be over 100 miles. The buildings are so tall that there are clouds and fog hovering over them. If this is not a royal capital of some sort, how could it have so grand and noble an appearance?" "You have good eyes, elder brother," said Sha Monk, "and you may recognize that it's a royal city. Do you know its name?" Pilgrim replied, "There are neither banners nor plaques. How could I know its name? We have to make inquiries inside the city, and then we'll know." Urging his horse on, the elder soon arrived at the gate, where he dismounted to walk across the moat bridge. As he looked around after he entered the gate, he discovered flourishing trades in all 3 markets and the 6 boulevards. And he saw, moreover, that in their elegant attire, the people looked most distinguished. As they walked along, they suddenly caught sight of a score of monks begging from door to door, everyone carrying the kang and wearing a lock. They looked most destitute indeed. When the hare dies, sighed Tripitaka, the fox will grieve, for a creature will mourn its kind. Then he called out, Wukong, go up there and question them. Why are they so condemned? Obeying his master's words, Pilgrim said, Hey, monks! Which monastery do you belong to? Why are you carrying the kang and wearing the lock? Going to their knees, the monks said, Father, we are monks of the Golden Light Monastery, who have been grievously wronged. Where is this Golden Light Monastery? Asked Pilgrim. Just around the corner there, said one of the monks. Pilgrim brought them before the Tang monk before he asked them again. What do you mean by grievously wronged? Tell me. Father, said the monks. We don't know where you came from, though you seem quite familiar to us. We dare not tell you here. Please come to our humble residence, and we will disclose our woes. That is more appropriate, said the elder. Let's go to their monastery, and we can then question them carefully. They went together up to the monastery gate, where they found in gold letters this horizontal inscription, Golden Light Monastery built by imperial command. As master and disciples entered the gate, they saw cold-scented lamps in aged halls, windswept leaves in vacant corridors, atop the clouds, 1,000-foot pagoda. To nourish one's nature, a few pine trees. The grounds flower-strewn, but no guests pass by. The eaves are amply screened by spider webs. Drums mounted in vain. Bells hung up unused. The walls are dust-covered, the murals blurred. The lecterns so quiet for no monk is seen. The Chan hall's silent, only birds you'll meet. Such lamentable plight. Such endless, lonely pain. Though incense urns are before the Buddhas placed. The ashes cool, the petals wilt, and all are vain. Grief-stricken, Tripitaka could not restrain the tears welling up in his eyes. Wearing the kangs and locks, the monks pushed open the door to the main hall and invited our elder to worship the Buddha. After he entered the hall, the elder could only offer the incense of his heart, though he touched his face to the ground 3 times. Then they went to the back, where they found another 6 or 7 young priests chained to the pillar before the abbot's hall, an intolerable sight for Tripitaka. When they reached the abbot's hall, the monks leading the way all came to kowtow, and one of them asked, The features of our venerable fathers are not all the same. Do you happen to be those who have come from the great Tang in the land of the East? You monks must know the magic of foreknowledge without divination, said Pilgrim, laughing. We're indeed such persons. But how did you recognize us? Father, said the monk. What sort of foreknowledge without divination do you think we really possess? It's just that we've been grievously wronged, and there's nowhere for us to turn for justice, except to call on heaven and earth day in and day out. We must have disturbed the gods, I suppose, for each of us had a dream last night, where we were told that a holy monk arriving from the great Tang in the land of the East would be able to save our lives. Our grievances, too, would be rectified. When we came upon the strange appearances of you venerable fathers today, we were thus able to recognize you. Highly pleased by these words, Tripitaka said, What is the name of your region here? What sort of grievances do you have? The monks all knelt down again, and one of them said, Holy Father, this city is called the Sacrifice Kingdom, and it is a major city in the Western Territories. In years past, barbaric tribes of all 4 quarters came to pay us tribute, to the south, the Yetuo Kingdom, to the north, the Koko Kingdom, to the east, the state of Western Liang, and to the west, the Benbo Kingdom. They brought annually fine jade and lustrous pearls, beautiful girls, and spirited horses. Without our use of arms or expeditionary forces, all of them would of their own accord venerate us as the superior state. If they do that, said Tripitaka, It must be because you have an upright king, worthy civil officers, and noble military officers. Holy Father, said the monk, neither our civil officers are worthy, nor our military officers noble. And the king is not upright either. It has to do with this golden light monastery of ours, which from the beginning had auspicious clouds covering our treasure pagoda and hallowed mists rising from our whole edifice. At night beams of light flashed from the building and people as far away as 10,000 miles had seen them. By day, colored airs sprouted and all four of our surrounding nations had witnessed them. This is why we have been regarded as the divine capital of a heavenly prefecture, and why we have enjoyed the tributes of the four barbaric tribes. But 3 years ago, during the first day of the first month of winter, a rainstorm of blood descended upon us at the hour of midnight. By morning every household was fearful. Every home was grief-stricken. The various ministers made haste to memorialize to the king, with all sorts of speculation on why such chastisement was sent by the heavenly Lord. At the time, Taoists were summoned to say their mass and Buddhists their scriptures in order to pacify heaven and earth. Who would have suspected, however, that, since our treasure pagoda of gold had been defiled by that rainstorm, the foreign nations would stop coming to pay tribute these last 2 years? Our king wanted to send out expeditionary forces, but he was restrained by the ministers, who accused the monks of this monastery of stealing the treasure in the pagoda.